Why on my lap, guys? Why on my lap? Oh my god. Chaos. Jinkies. Are we done? No. Get a little nibble starting. That's how it starts. The corning. Where is this? Alright. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Purls and Pyrs podcast. I have a peer right here. I'm your host, Nina, otherwise known as Ine on Ravelry, Instagram, Pinterest. You can maybe find show notes. I did some last episode. I did. So I tried to put, what I'm working on, etc., in the notes below the podcast. But, you can always put a comment if there's anything I talk about that you want to know about. I am often joined by my two co-hosts, Hubble and Ada, who are our Great Pyrenees. And to all new viewers, thank you for checking me out. To all returning viewers, thank you so much for joining me again. I appreciate each and every one of you. I've been doing this for 11 years now, so those of you who've been here since the beginning, you're the best. Thank you. I do have the windows open, so there probably will be some road noise, but it's a really nice day today. I think it's 63 or 64 degrees outside. But yeah, that's really nice, and it's sunny, and I'm just enjoying having a little bit of warm breeze coming into the house. Yeah, so I have one finished object. Yeah, I have one finished object to share this week, and I will give you fair warning that this is a fairly acquisition heavy episode because I went to Connecticut Sheep Wool. Yay! So this bag has all of my acquisitions in it from, was that last weekend? Yeah, I think it was last weekend on Saturday, April 24th. So today is Friday, May 1st, 2026. And I'm coming to you, as I said, from a sunny, reasonably warm central Connecticut. Yeah, there's proof that he's right there. There's a little tangle behind his ear. They were fighting, fighting in play fighting way. So Ada got up on my lap, and then she was like turning around and biting him and stuff like, oh, bite me, bite me. And so then they were like wrestling on top of me. It was terrible because they're huge. So, yeah, I should just jump right into it because it's been kind of a stressful week. I've had to work from home because my husband got rear-ended pulling into our driveway, and so we've been down to one car for a week, and we're still waiting on the damage assessment so we can actually get things started for repairing it. I have no clue at this point when that's going to happen. So let's just try to have a nice time and enjoy some knitting. So my one and only finished object for this week are these socks. Yay! And they're pretty close to twins. I think that I did a pretty good job with where I started the second one. One of them has the ends woven in. The other one has just one left to go. This is Cascade Yarns Heritage Prints. The mini skein that I used for the heels, and I only did a contrast heel. Everything else I just did in the stripe. It was a mini skein that my friend Sue sent to me in our Advent swap last year. So I don't know what the yarn is, but it's kind of a candy apple green kind of color, or Jolly Rancher, green apple Jolly Rancher color. That's what it reminds me of. So yeah, they're just vanilla socks, 64 stitches. Heel flap and gusset. I border my heel flaps with these garter stitches now. I learned that from the Tiny Human Knits podcast, and I do it on all my heels now because it makes it very easy to pick up the stitches and you don't get weird gaps. So yeah, I really love that garter edge on the heel. Yeah, so I'm happy with them. I'm trying to go through a lot of my commercial yarn stash this year, and I think I've knit more socks this year than I maybe have at any point in quite a while. So I think I've knit 7 pairs now so far this year, which is a lot, considering that we're only now barely into May. So more than 1 pair a month. Yeah, so apparently I'm a sock knitter again. Hey, that's cool. I love wearing hand knit socks. I only wear hand knit socks. So not any complaints here. And as always, when I cast off a sock, I cast on a new one immediately. So I try to always keep all of my sock needles going with pairs of socks on them. And I mostly knit vanilla socks, but I think these I might do a little bit of a slip stitch pattern maybe when the stripes change. I don't know. Or maybe I'll do an eyelet, like a yarn over knit one, yarn over knit two together all the way across. I haven't decided yet. But this yarn, I feel like my camera is really far away. I'm going to come to the edge of the couch. I think it's because the dogs pushed the table out when they were wrestling. Yeah, I'm pretty sure now, looking at where it is on the floor. Yes, they moved it. That's why I feel so far away. So this yarn is Knit Picks Felici in the dark side colorway. And I just have a cuff. So I will do some kind of patterning, but it'll mostly be a vanilla sock. Just because they're very easy to knit, and I like to use socks as just kind of my filler project. My eyes are very itchy again today, and I really hope I'm not getting a recurrence of pink eye. I think it's just allergies, but I don't know, because this eye just feels like I've got something in it, and that is sort of what the beginnings of pink eye feel like. So we'll see tomorrow. If I wake up with a swollen shut eye, we'll know. And I still have enough antibiotic eye drops that I could do another whole course of antibiotics for them. I did finish my antibiotics and it did go away, so I don't know. But she said sometimes if you have bad allergies that you can get pink eye from just itching your eye a lot or something getting in there and irritating it, and then it becomes infected. So that could be what's happening, because I feel like the allergy season is pretty intense this year so far. Excuse me. So that is my one new cast on. The next thing I cast on, which I am so excited about this one. That's not the right pattern. This one was not anything I planned. Well, I kind of planned it, but it's not turning out how I planned it. So I've wanted to cast on for a while this Tiny Dancer pattern by Lyrical Knits. I've never knit anything of hers, but I own a ton of her patterns. I really love her stuff. She did several things that were Big Bang Theory themed. So she has a Bernadette cardigan, an Amy Farrah Fowler cardigan. I want to knit both of those. She has a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy sweaters. She also does a mystery shawl every year, but I'm not really into shawls anymore. But anyway, yeah, never did any Lyrical Knits patterns, but I'm going to change that this year. So Tiny Dancer is a slip stitch pattern. So this is all slip stitches. It's not actual color work, which is great. And I had originally thought I would use it as an advent calendar pattern. So I was going to do the contrast color, main color. Sorry, the main color is black, and the contrast colors I was going to use, like every stripe, I was going to do a mini from the advent. But when I looked at it, I was like, that's only going to be like 2 rows per mini skein, and I'm still going to end up with a ton of yarn at the end. So I decided to scrap that because I want to actually use more of my mini up, and I'm thinking I'm going to do a pattern called the Coffee House Fade for... Anyway, I'm going to use the Coffee House Fade pattern. There's a sweater and a cardigan version. I own both of them, and I'm going to use them for my chromatic yarns. Got a dog hair on my face. My chromatic yarns from maybe 2019? I'm not sure. Anyway, I think it's the Book of Spells one. That's the one I'm thinking of, that I had started the My Favorite Adventure sweater out of, and I ripped it out. So anyway, I'm just going to let it be a fade by itself, because it is a fade, but kind of a more colorful fade. It's not like a very subtle gradient fade. But this one, I still wanted to knit this sweater pretty badly. So I was like, okay, I'm going to look for something else that I've been trying to find a pattern for and couldn't. So I had this skein of yarn, which is Pink Fluffy Llama Corns by Pandia's Jewels. And Pandia's Jewels sadly no longer dyes yarn. So this needed to be something really special. But I didn't know what. I didn't want to make it be socks. So I thought, ooh, what if this was the contrast color in here? So it'd still have all kinds of different colors in it. And what would go well with it that wasn't black? Because I do still want to keep the black now for something else. Probably for another advent calendar contrast color. Because black kind of is the one that most dyers aren't going to dye and put into an advent calendar. So I do want to keep that sweater quantity of Knit Picks Felici solid colors in the black. So I thought, okay, do I have anything gray, like a dark gray? Because light gray I think would kind of blend in with some of that white. And I do. So I have this yarn, which is kind of gray, but kind of blue. It's a blue gray. So this is Plies and Hellhounds, the Folklore collection in the Ahuisodal colorway. And it is on the Lucent base, so it has some silk in it. I'm sorry, it has so much dog fur on it because of the wrestling match that I talked about. So I thought, okay, this is pretty magical. I love gray and pink together. So this is going to be the main color of the sweater, and then this is going to be the contrast that goes all along the front and the back. So that slip stitch pattern, that's mosaic knitting, right? If you use slip stitches, I think that's called mosaic knitting. Anyway, so the mosaic knitting pattern is on the front and the back. So front and the back will be this color with this as the main color of the zigzaggies, and then the sleeves are solid, the main color, and it's got this kind of cool, almost like a boat neck, but it's like ribbed on the sides, and you kind of do some cool stuff to make it get together. And I'm going to show you that right now because I am in the process of doing it, and it's really cool how it is being constructed. Behind me now and I can't get it. I had an issue though because I was knitting very tightly, apparently. I was knitting with a small needle, which I don't love. I think it's a 16-inch. What is it? Okay, this one. So it's a 16-inch cable. I kind of hate 16-inch cables because then the needle is tiny, and the way I knit, I go all the way, I support all the way out to my pinky, and you can see like I'm kind of falling off there. So I started getting like a cramp in my hand because I want to hold it that way, and I can't hold it that way. I go onto the cable. So I hate 16-inch circulars. I don't use them unless I have to, but I do have this one for necklines. That's all I have it for. Mostly, I will use 2 circulars and be able to use, I need like a 5-inch needle in order for the way I knit to work out. So this is how I like to have it, where I have extra needle on the other side and we're good to go. Anyway, I digress. I am, as I said, working on that neckline. So you do, it's ribbing, but you do short row shaping to kind of make up the part that's gonna be, you know, coming up to the front. So yeah, that's what I have so far. I'm not done with the short rows yet. I am kind of in the short rows, but I knit so tightly that when I transitioned it to this other needle with longer tips, that I could not get it on this needle. It was so tight that it got stuck. And so I had to push all of the stitches back off to a 1 millimeter needle, I think, to be able to get it in there. And then I knit off of the size 00 back onto my 5s. I think it looks okay. It was just weird, the sliding back and forth. But we're fine. We're back in the round now. On it, I have a stitch marker from Chromatic Yarns, one of her hand beaded stitch markers. It's a unicorn and I love it so much. Yeah, so that's the beginnings of my tiny dancer, and it will be the main color Aoi Sodal. The contrast color is pink fluffy llama corns, and that has been my stash for at least 8 years because it was pre-Connecticut. So yeah, I think it was maybe 10 years that I've had this yarn. Yeah, because I got it when I was knitting the whole pattern book of, is it Knitting with Cece? There was like a shawl and there was a bunch of socks. There was a knit along that was happening in the Knitting Broomstick podcast. So it was when Jilly still podcasted. And she was doing a knit along for that book. And I knit everything in that book. That's one of the few times I've ever done that. And yeah, Jilly really loved Pandia's Jewels yarns. And I got into them because of her. So yeah, this has been in my stash for a long time. So I'm happy that it's going to become something, and I think it's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. I'm really excited about it. And then just a little check-in on my Byzantine tea. So I have not started it yet because I had to wind up the yarn. So I did wind up my Rextira yarn. This is Plies and Helens on the iron base, which is a tweed. So we're going to have this color, and then remember on the last podcast, I was talking, maybe two podcasts ago? I don't know. I was talking about that I thought I had a lighter color of iron than the one I was showing, and I absolutely did. So it was this one that I was thinking of. This one is Numinous. So those were the 3 colors I wanted to use together. So I was like, what is this tan? I don't think this is what I wanted to use. It's not got as much contrast. And I was like, well, it'll be okay. But yeah, this was the one I was thinking of, Numinous. So it's kind of like a very light cream, but it has kind of, yeah, you can see it there. These very pale yellow occasional flecks. So I think that's going to be really good. So that will be the palette for my Byzantine tea. But not right now because I just had an unexpected cast on of the Tiny Dancer. Yeah, so that's basically everything that I've been working on. I think the Aendale was not joined in the round when I showed it last time, so let me show that. So the Aendale is a pattern by Tammy Gore, and it is a tee with lace panels down the sides after you do a little bit under the arm. So I finished, oh my gosh, must have come undone. There's a lot of loose yarn in this bag. Okay. Anyway, I joined it in the round. I picked up and knit the neckline, and I washed and blocked it. So it suggested that when you got to the point where you felt like it was the right size to join under the arms, to wash and block it, check it, and then if you feel good about it, proceed with the arm separation. So I did just that. I got to where I thought was the right spot. I washed it and I blocked it, and it needed a little bit more length. So I think I added another inch. I added quite a lot. Yeah, you can, let's see if you can see it. So here's where I stopped doing the raglan increases, and I had to knit that much more to get to where I felt like it wasn't going to be up in my armpit, which is a summer sweater, so I didn't really want that. So I used my Salty Air as the comparison sweater, and I think it's somewhere on the back of the couch because of that. And then when it was kind of to the same sleeve drop place, I went ahead and separated. So now I have separated for the sleeves. I have knit just a teeny tiny bit. There you go. I think I have 2 more rows. So I think you're supposed to knit like 4 rows plain, and then I will do the setup row for doing those lace panels. But yeah, I really like the fit of it. It feels really nice. It's really nice to feel the lucent once it's been washed and blocked. My gauge opened up, so it's a little bit looser, but that's fine because I was knitting a smaller size. There kind of wasn't the chest circumference that I wanted for this. It was either way too big or kind of too small. So my my swatch and kind of back calculating, I did a kind of smaller size, and then it has washed and blocked to be pretty much the size I wanted. So it's about a 38-inch bust right now. And yeah, my plan is to add shaping on either side of those lace panels on the front and the back. And that is pretty much all I have to say about it. Nope, it's not. This is the Indusworm colorway. And it is another one of the Folklore collection. Yeah, Folklore? All right, I'm going to have to check the... Yes, the Folklore Club, which was a club that Gabby did not last year, the year before, because last year was dragons. So the year before last, she did like all these different like folklore animals and stuff, cryptids and things like that. So this one was like folklore from, I think, India. It's a big yucky worm, but it's really pretty. It's a pretty color. I really like it. So, yep, that's coming along, but I just kind of put it in this bag because I wasn't in a spot to get set up for the eyelets. At the same time that I did that washing and blocking, I also reskeined, washed, and blocked the remaining piece of knitting that I had that was knit into the brightest tea. Was it the brightest tea? I don't remember. I feel like it was that, but it was a Lily Kate France pattern, and it didn't really work out for me. So I had a couple of balls of yarn about this size, and then I had kind of some larger quantities. So I skeined up 3 of them. Yeah, 3 of them. And I washed that yarn and hung it to dry. So that's all ready to be reballed up. I still need to do this one. And this one I reskeined, but this gives you an idea, right? Because this is what it looks like not washed. Right? It looks so fun and noodly. Yeah, so I should not knit it this way. So that's what this one will look like too. I just used my hand nitty knotty. This one. I have a little mini one. I wanted to get a full-size one, and I was going to look for one at Connecticut Sheep Wool, and then I just completely forgot. So I think at Rhinebeck, that's what I'm going to be on the lookout for. So ladies who are my Rhinebeck group, don't let me forget, I want a full-size wood nitty-knotty so I can reskein yarn, because I find these easier to use than doing my Swift, because I kind of put it on my Swift and then I have to sit there and spin it and spin it and spin it. Yeah, this I can just sit here and go like this, you know, while I'm winding it on. So it's a little bit easier to do. And then if you need to put it down and stop, you actually can. You don't need to, like, I don't keep my Swift out all the time. So if I'm reskeining something, I'm sort of stuck and I have to finish it. If I had a nitty-knotty and I needed to go do something, I could just sit it down and have it to the side. So anyway, I've wanted one that's full size for a while now, so I need to just do it. But anyway, that's gonna get washed and balled up along with that one probably this weekend. I'm also gonna redo the yarn that I had in my summer frolic. I have 2 balls of that I need to reskein and rewash. Do I have anything else to show? Josh's sweater, I knit too many increases. So I need to rip back 4 rows, and each row takes me about 30 minutes. So I'm very annoyed that I have to rip out 2 hours worth of progress because I went too far in the pattern. I think I wasn't, I'm using the Tin Can Knits app, and I think I wasn't pushing the button on my increase tracker, because you can drop a little tracker in, and I think I lost track of it and just wasn't doing it. So yeah, I have too many stitches on the needles right now, and I gotta go back, and I don't wanna. It's gonna be so much progress lost, and it makes me really, really sad. Okay. So acquisitions. Let's start with some books and stuff, because that's fun. So I bought some coloring books for Megs. I went to Michael's. I was looking for birthday invitations for Joshua. There's Hubble. And he's gonna hork at me too. Dude, come on. You've played a lot today. No, I don't want to do that right now. No. I don't want to. Oh, Jesus. Please don't trash my stuff. Buddy, be a nice boy. Can you be a nice boy? We're on camera. Can you be a nice boy? Let's see if you can be a nice boy. You can't be a nice boy. It's right next to my tissues. Yes, I use toilet paper to blow my nose. During allergy season, I couldn't afford how many tissues I would go through. Hello. Yes, buddy. Getting peer pawed. Here's Hubble. Ada's in the other room, randomly barking. She's been kind of screaming for treats this evening. She threw up twice, though, so she's not getting any treats right now. Because she went outside and ate grass. Anyway, so yeah, I was going to Michael's to look for birthday invitations, which apparently aren't a thing that exists anymore. You know, you remember we'd get packs of invitations and they were like blank, but they had lines on them, and you would fill in like the who, the where, the when, the why, you know, and you would put like, it's my birthday and here's where it's going to be. And we're going to have cake and ice cream and blah, blah. You cannot find those anymore. So I went on a wild hunt for birthday invitations. First, I went to Michael's thinking, of course they're going to have birthday invitations. They have wrapping paper, they have balloons, they've got this, they've got that. Not birthday invitations. They don't have any. What I did get, however, is I got some coloring books. As I said, there was one that was a pumpkin spice one that was like a manga coloring book. And then I found this, which is Forest Fairies, Mushrooms, and Goblins sticker color and activity book. I mainly got it for the stickers for journaling. But look at these end papers. Oh, so good. I might actually cut up that end paper so I could put it in my journal. And it has just really pretty scenes in it. There are like mazes and stuff like that that you can do. But, oh, these stickers, look at them. They're so good. I can't even see to see if I'm showing you. So there's tons of stickers, like little trolls and woodland creatures, and there's a bunch of mushrooms. I love the mushrooms. There's fairies. There's coloring pages. Oh, I love these. These are definitely gonna have to be some kind of spread. So yeah, anyway, that was really nice. I think it has 500 stickers in it, and the book was, I think, $20 or something. So not bad for how many stickers you get. And it's pretty. Okay, and then the other thing I found there was something I'd been looking for a bit. Sorry, I had the dog brush sitting on that. The Granny Square card deck. Now, do I know how to crochet granny squares? I do not. However, I do want to make, what is that card again? It's by Tanis Lavallee. There's a granny square cardigan that everybody was making a couple years ago. I have that pattern. At some point I will make it, but I thought it would be kind of fun to try out some different granny squares. So if you're unfamiliar, this one has 50 granny square patterns. It has a booklet on how to make granny squares and read charts. And these cards on the back have the color chart for how to do granny squares. So yeah, there's just lots of different ones in there. So I thought that would be really fun to learn. And Megs was also excited about it because they do know how to crochet. But they do not know how to do granny squares. So I was like, oh, maybe this is something we can learn together. So anyway, yeah, I'd been looking for that for a while. I'm glad that Michael's had it. I would rather get it from Michael's than Amazon. And then, oh, I don't have them with me, but I ordered, speaking of Amazon, I was like thinking I needed some cookbooks to kind of inspire us with ideas to use all of our eggs for, because all of the chickens are now laying, so we have a lot of eggs. So I looked for 2 egg cookbooks. I was searching on Barnes & Noble, and then I was like, you know what? I should like copy the ISBN numbers, and I should order these from our local bookstore. So that's what I did. So I ordered from the Riverbend bookstore in Glastonbury. And it's a really nice bookstore. It's in like a historical home. So ordered those, and I don't have them with me, but I also picked up a couple of books because I had a copy of Animal Farm that I had had since I was in 3rd grade. We read it in my Talented and Gifted class in 3rd grade, but I have unfortunately lost that book. It might be somewhere in the house. And it's really sad because I had my notes too, like my margin notes. I was a very insightful 3rd grader. But anyway, it's Animal Farm by George Orwell. So I wanted to have another copy of it because Megs hasn't read it. And, you know, kids need to know about dystopian fiction, question mark? Yeah. And the other one is Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. This one I read in college, but I think that my copy was destroyed in one of the floods that we had in our basement in our house. Our old house, not this house. But our basement flooded a few times, and there were a lot of things that got wet and mildewy, and we had to throw them away. So I lost a lot of books, especially like textbooks and books I'd read in college, which sucks. That made me really sad. And oddly, the first book of many series. So I've had to slowly replace the first book of several of my series. So now I have Brave New World and Animal Farm again. I will probably read them sometime this year. I also want to reread 1984, but I do have that one. That one did not get destroyed in the floods. Yeah, so that was all my non-yarny acquisitions. Yes, that was. In terms of yarny acquisitions, yes, this is the April ones. My mini skeins from the Chai Latte tier of the Patreon for Chromatic Yarns came. This month it was like neons, which are fun. I'm going to use these, I think, for sock heels and toes, because I definitely have some self-striping yarn. Here's Tubbles too. I have some self-striping yarn that these would go well with. So they are Confetti Chaos, Electric Fizz, and Violet Spark. This one's more yellow, but it's coming out kind of green on the camera. I don't know. Neons are always really hard to film. And apologies for the last episode's lighting. I will not sit over there again. So, sorry. I kind of thought I might be backlit, but at the point I was like, you know what, I'm all set up here. I just need to get it done because I usually don't have a lot of time to record. So I just carried on. But anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah, you couldn't see a lot of stuff and you couldn't see my face. Yeah. So then we get to Connecticut Sheep Wool. Yay! It was so fun. It was such a good day. So as I expected, Joshua did not want to go with me, which was probably good because there was this bunny that this woman had, and boy, she was pushing hard for people to buy her bunnies. She had Angora bunnies. It was a very sweet bunny, like so docile. It just like laid in my arms and fell asleep with me holding it upside on his back. And then like it got passed around to people like it was a baby. It was super sweet. However, I do not need a bunny, and Meg's already begged me for this bunny. I was like, I'm not going to just randomly buy a bunny. Josh is allergic to mice and cats, and I don't know that he isn't allergic to bunnies. So I'm like, yeah, I at least would need you to like, I need to make a swatch of Angora yarn and have him walk around with it in his shirt or something at the very least. And then he would need to go and like hold the bunny and interact with it for a while to make sure he wasn't going to react before I ever brought anything like that into our house. And frankly, I think the bunny would have a freaking heart attack when it saw our two dogs the first time. So, I don't know. Anyway, I did buy some soap from Country Critters Farm. It smells so good. Like, so good. So this one is Macintosh Apple, and it smells like the nicest apple. And then this one is called Suffolk Sleigh Ride. And it's just a really nice, warm, soft scent. I can't even describe it. It's just so good. It's really fruity. And the lady was like, I don't have any lavender soap with me, because I said, do you are any of these lavender? And she said, oh no, I don't have any of the lavender soap because my mom is vending at a different show at the same day. And I was like, no, that's good because I'm allergic to lavender. And she's like, oh, perfect. Yeah, all of them are fine and safe for you of what I have. Yeah, so they're sheep milk soap. They feel like really good. I think they're going to be super moisturizing. Yeah, it was very nice. And the woman was very nice. I think we also got, she was selling like needle felted stuff. So we got a needle felted mushroom for Meg's room. That was really cute. And then Gabby. So Gabby had her new base there. And I did not realize she was going to do a pre-order for all of the colors. But really, I just wanted her new colors anyway, because I have the stock colors on other bases. So I don't need to buy more of them. But I got the Scream colorway, which I talked about on the last episode. So this is inspired by the dress that the lead singer of Florence and the Machine is wearing in the video for the song Scream. So yeah, this is Scream on Lady Grey DK. They are all the same color, but when I turn them, like, they're picking up more and less light because of my lighting situation. But can you see, like, the gray underneath base? Oh, it's so good. It's got a lot of depth to the color because it's on a gray base. So it is 80% non-superwash Corriedale, 20% Gotland, which I think the Gotland is what is the gray. It's really nice. So when Gabby and I had coffee the last time, she was knitting on her stripe pipe. So I did get to feel it, and I was like, yeah, I need to have some of that. So I got 5 skeins of that for a sweater. It was funny, me and one other lady and I both took like all of the Scream and the other color, because she got enough for a sweater and I got enough for a sweater, and I was like, here, have these. So it was fun. Okay, and the other one is phthalo green, or it's phthalo, but it makes me think of Bob Ross. If you guys watched Bob Ross, if you are children of the 80s, Bob Ross was like on PBS, I think about when I got home from school. So my sister and I would watch him all the time. And I remember him saying, let's put a little phthalo green in there. And he always used phthalo green on his pine trees as like the base color. And then he would put like the lighter colors and the snow and then the little bit of branches. And so good. So I have some really good, nice, warm memories of watching Bob Ross make all of his masterpieces and just his happy little trees, and just, beat the dickens out of it when he would like wash his paintbrushes, and then he would thwack them against the edge of his easel. Yeah, this is all good stuff. He was just such a like calming presence. Yeah, so this is phthalo green. Oh, there you can see that it's a green. Can you see it? Oh, it's so good. It's this deep pine color. I don't have anything like, I don't even ever think I've seen anything like this before. Look at it. Just look at it. Oh my gosh. It's so good. So good. So anyway, phthalo green on Lady Grey DK. That is going to be some kind of a sweater. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be good. Maybe a Yulegran. But I kind of don't want it to be something so seasonal, because I feel like the Yulegran, because it has a Christmas tree on it, and it's intended to be a Christmas tree, it kind of makes it so you can only really wear it around Christmas time. Yeah, so I want this to be something I can wear like all the time. I think like a really nice cardigan. I think it would make a really good cardigan with some like fun buttons. Yeah. Anyway, those were my 2 acquisitions from Gabby. Pyrs and Hellhounds. And then White Birch Fiber Arts was there, and she was such a delight to talk to. I chatted with her for a while. We were talking a little bit about politics and just about like her Rhinebeck prep, because I said, I always go to your booth at Rhinebeck, but you're always out of most of the colors. And she's like, yeah, no matter how much I make, I always think I'm going to have enough for Rhinebeck, and then it always sells out like the first day. So she's like, yeah, there will never be the limit for how many is the right amount to bring. But since she was at a much smaller yarn show, and she's kind of local, I got the colorways that I'd been looking for. So one is, does this rainbow make my black look big? So it is rainbow stripes with like sections of black that are thicker between the rainbows. It's a really good one. And then the other one, this is called Nothing Says Screw You Like a Rainbow. So this one, you've got a rainbow set of stripes, and then you've got like this section that's thicker that looks like a cloudy sky, like a blue sky with like white puffy clouds in it. It is so cool. This one I've wanted for a really long time. Like, she has a sample knit up, and she puts it in like those little like an embroidery hoop, and oh, it's so cute. It's so good. Yeah, so I'm very happy that I got those two, and it was really nice to talk to her. So yeah, I think this is my 4th skein of white birch fiber hearts, so I need to knit some. I have one that has a white thicker stripe in the middle, and I got that one to make mittens out of the it's not Spilly Jane. Anyway, it's this pattern book that's how to knit with self-striping yarns, or what to knit with self-striping yarns that aren't just socks. Yeah. So I'm gonna make those mittens at some point. I do have that wound up. Then the last thing I got is from Fiber Stash Dye Works, and it is this skein of yarn called Campfire. So it has this really pretty variegated sections that look like kind of flames and campfire. It's really cool. I just really liked it. It was very unique and interesting, and yeah, I've never used her yarn before. So, and again, she had some really cool like buttons of like, my favorite season is the fall of the patriarchy, and there were just some other really cute, fun things in her booth. And I did get 3 pom-poms for Megs in that booth as well. So she had pretty good prices on pom-poms. So that is everything I got at Connecticut Sheep and Wool Festival. This was a really nice festival. It was nice to get a chance to walk around. Meg's had a friend over that weekend, so the two of them were just wandering around at the festival, and we just kind of coordinated of like, hey, you can go wherever you want in this barn, just let me know if you move to the next barn. So we kind of just went barn by barn, and then for a little while they went to look at the animal barns, and I finished up looking in the barn where the lady had the bunnies. Oh, I also got maple syrup and the maple spice and maple cream from the maple ladies, and there was a guy in the back of a different booth that I also got maple syrup from. Yeah, so it was a good festival. It was a good time. Unfortunately, like I said, we've had the car issue to deal with, so hopefully that will get resolved in the next week or so, because I am tired of not being able to have a car, and there's some things where it probably would have been better if I was in the office for, but you know, we just adapt as we must, and it is fine. So yeah, this has been kind of a long one. Yeah, just with everything I had to share that I got, even though I didn't have a lot of knitting to share particularly. I guess I did. There was a decent amount of stuff in there. At least I'm not just working on like one thing, which is what I had been doing for a while. Yeah, but I'm ready to cast on all the things. I'm very excited about the warm weather. We've got our squash in the ground. Our tomatoes are probably going to be up potted this weekend, but they're still in the greenhouse. We've got peas out. The strawberries are starting to bloom. Things are coming alive and coming together with the garden. It's nice to have the chickens laying eggs and being, you know, mature again. And now we have the electric fence, so we know they'll be safe. Yeah, so everything is okay. Everything is good. At least home-wise, you know. Everything's not so great in other parts of the world. Obviously, there's a war happening, and just all the terrible things that our government is doing to everyone in the world. I'm sorry. So anyway, until next time, I hope that you all get time to do some of the things you love and don't have pure fur stuck all over your face. And yeah, just be kind to each other. And I will see you all later.